The burning field. Caleb moved slowly across the ruined street. Smoke curled around him in gray waves. Burned metal and stone made sharp shadows in the pale morning light. The battle had ended only hours ago, but the city already felt like it had been dead for years. He kept his rifle ready, though he knew most of the enemy was gone. Still, he could not shake the feeling the eyes were watching from the broken windows. A small sound reached his ears, a muffled cry, weak and scared. He turned, searching the rubble. "Hello?" He called softly. No answer came, but he heard the sound again. He stepped over a fallen pillar, careful not to make noise. Under the broken wall, he saw a shape. Someone lay pinned under shattered stone. He dropped to one knee, setting his rifle aside. The figure was wrapped in torn silver robes. Ash clung to the fabric. A slim arm reached toward him, fingers trembling. Caleb's breath caught. This was not a soldier. This was a woman. Her face was hidden by a cracked metal mask. He lifted a chunk of rock from her legs and tossed it aside. "You're safe," he whispered. "I'm going to help you." She did not move, but her hand curled around his wrist. He pulled more rubble away until he could slide his arms under her. She felt light, as if she had not eaten in days. When he lifted her, her head lolled against his shoulder. For one moment, he thought she had died. Then she took a thin, shaking breath. "Don't leave me," she whispered. Her voice was soft and broken. "I won't," he said. "I promise." He carried her past the smoking ruins, every step slow and careful. An old temple stood at the end of the street. Its walls were cracked, but the roof was still strong. He pushed the heavy door open with his shoulder and stepped inside. The air smelled of old incense and dust. He laid her down on a low stone bench. Her breathing was fast, her chest rising and falling under the silver robes. Caleb crouched beside her, searching for any sign of wounds. A dark stain spread across the fabric near her ribs. He cursed under his breath. "You're hurt," he said quietly. Her eyes stayed closed. He pulled a small medkit from his belt and tore open the seal. His hands worked fast, cleaning the blood and pressing a bandage over the wound. She flinched, a small sound escaping her lips. "Sorry," he whispered. "I have to stop the bleeding." Her eyes fluttered open. Caleb froze. Her gaze was bright blue, glowing even in the dim light. She looked at him for a long moment, as if searching his face for something. Then her lips parted. "They must not know who I am," she breathed. He frowned. "Who?" he asked. "Any of them," she said weakly. Her hand lifted to touch the cracked mask on her cheek. He saw now that it was more than armor. It was meant to hide her identity. "Please," she whispered. "Don't take it off." He swallowed. "I wasn't going to," he said softly. Her fingers fell back to her side. "You don't understand," she said. "Then tell me," he said. Her eyes closed again. "I can't," she whispered. "You don't have to be afraid," he said. "I am not afraid for myself," she breathed. Her voice turned small. "I am afraid for you." He looked around the old temple, feeling the silence press against his skin. Whatever this woman was hiding, it was something big. But he had already decided. He could not leave her here to die. "We'll stay here for now," he said, quietly, "until you're strong enough to move." Her lips parted, but no words came. She only nodded once, her breath growing slow again. Caleb sat beside her, rifle across his knees. He did not know who she was, but he knew that from the moment he carried her out of the rubble. His life had changed forever. The hidden name. Caleb did not sleep that night. He sat on the cold floor of the old temple, watching over the woman in the silver robes. Her breathing stayed slow and even, but sometimes she would shiver. He added pieces of broken wood to a small fire. The orange glow made her mask shine like a pale moon. Outside, the wind carried the smell of smoke and burned metal. He knew other patrols would come looking for survivors soon. He knew he should leave, but every time he thought of walking away, he looked at her and stayed. Near dawn, she stirred. Her hand moved weakly, brushing the edge of her robe. "Water," she whispered. He grabbed his canteen and lifted her head gently. She drank in small sips, her fingers cold against his wrist. When she pulled back, her blue eyes opened. They were not just bright, they were almost bright, like something alive glowed behind them. "Thank you," she said, her voice still weak. "You're welcome," Caleb said. He paused. "Do you have a name?" Her gaze lowered. "I do," she said softly. "Will you tell me?" She was silent for a long moment. Then she lifted a hand and touched her mask. If I tell you, she whispered, you will be in danger. I'm already in danger, he said, just by being here. Her lips curved in a small, sad smile. You don't understand, she said. Then help me understand, he said gently. Her hand fell back to her side. Alira, she whispered. The name was soft, almost musical. Alira. He repeated. She nodded, her blue eyes meeting his. You must not say it again, she said. Why? Because if someone hears you, they will know, she said. He frowned. Know what? She looked away. That I am not just a woman in hiding, she said quietly. Caleb felt something cold in his chest. Then who are you? He asked. Her hand pressed against her ribs where the bandage lay. I am part of something, she said slowly. Something that should not have survived. What does that mean? It means, she said, her voice trembling, that I am not supposed to be here, and if they find me alive, the war will start again. He felt the weight of her words settle in the air between them. Then I won't let them find you, he said. Her eyes widened. You don't even know me, she whispered. I know enough, he said firmly. You don't understand, she said again. He shook his head. I don't care, he said. I'm not leaving you. Her gaze searched his face, looking for any hint of a lie. She must have found none, because her shoulders relaxed a little. You are either very brave, she said softly, or very foolish. Maybe both, he said. For the first time, her lips curved in a small, real smile. He shifted closer to the fire. Alira, he said carefully, I have to move you soon. This place won't be safe when the patrols come back. Her smile faded. I know, she whispered. Can you walk? She tried to sit up, pain twisted across her face. He reached out to steady her. Her hand closed around his wrist, her grip surprisingly strong. If you help me stand, she said, I can. Try. He rose and helped her to her feet. Her body was fragile under the heavy robe when she swayed. He slipped his arm around her waist to hold her steady. She did not pull away. Thank you, she breathed. Her voice was softer than the wind. We'll get out of here, he said. Her bright eyes lifted to meet his. I hope you are right, she whispered. The night pursued. Caleb led Alira through the broken doorway of the temple. The cold air bit at his skin. Smoke drifted in slow waves across the empty street. He kept one hand on her arm to steady her. She leaned against him, her steps unsteady but determined. Every few yards, she paused to catch her breath. He could see how much the wound pained her, but she never complained. We need to find cover, he whispered. She nodded once. There's an old tunnel, she said softly, beneath the east square. Can you show me? Her blue eyes lifted to meet his. If I fall, she whispered, leave me. Not happening, he said firmly. Her lips curved in a tired smile. Then you are a fool, she said. Maybe, he said, but I'm your fool. Together, they crossed the shattered street. The stones were blackened by fire. Here and there, broken weapons lay where soldiers had dropped them. Alira's hand tightened on his arm as a loud noise echoed in the distance. A deep voice shouted orders in a language Caleb did not know. Lights flickered at the far end of the square. He pulled her into the shadow of a fallen wall. Stay here, he whispered. Her fingers clung to his sleeve. Don't leave me, she breathed. I won't, he promised. He peered over the edge of the rubble, for enemy soldiers moved down the street. Their guns raised. Their helmets glowed red in the dark, scanning for movement. Caleb's single quotes as heart hammered in his chest. Eli Ra leaned close, her voice so soft he could barely hear. They will kill you first, she whispered, and take me alive. Not if I can help it, he said. She looked at him for a long moment. You don't understand, she said again. Then tell me, he whispered. Her blue eyes shone like embers. I am not only a princess, she breathed. I am the last heir. He swallowed hard. The last heir of what? The Valari throne, she said. The name was familiar. The Valari had once ruled 1,000 worlds, but their empire had fallen in war long before Caleb was born. They think your line is dead, he said quietly. They must keep thinking that, she said. He looked down at her, feeling the weight of her secret settle on his shoulders. Then we make sure they don't find out, he said. She watched him with something like wonder in her eyes. You don't even know me, she whispered. I know enough, he said. Her hand lifted, fingers brushing the edge of his jaw. You are strange, She said softly, I get that a lot. He said. The soldiers moved past their hiding place without stopping. Caleb waited until the lights faded. Then he turned back to Alira. Can you walk? He asked. I will try, she said. He helped her stand. She leaned against him, her breath shaky. The tunnel is this way, she whispered. Show me, he said. They moved slowly along the edge of the ruined buildings. Every step felt longer. Then the last stop finally, she stopped beside a wide stone arch. Beneath it, half hidden by debris, was a metal hatch. Eli knelt and pressed her hand to a small panel. A soft chime sounded. The hatch clicked open. She looked up at him, her face pale. Inside, she said, You first, he said gently. She climbed down into the dark. He followed, closing the hatch above them. In the quiet below, he felt her hand find his, and for the first time, he knew he would never leave her. Behind Asterisk, the choice to trust the tunnel was narrow and cold. Thin pipes ran along the walls, covered in dust. The air smelled of old metal and something sweet he could not name. Caleb helped Alira sit on a flat stone. Her silver robe fell around her. Like a blanket, she leaned back against the wall, her eyes closed. He knelt beside her, checking the bandage at her ribs. Dark blood had soaked through the cloth. His chest tightened. You're bleeding again, he said quietly. It doesn't matter, she whispered. It does to me, he said. Her blue eyes opened, glowing softly in the dark. You should leave me here, she said. Save yourself. He shook his head. Not going to happen. Her lips curved in a tired smile. You are stubborn, she breathed. So are you, he said. Her smile faded. I have no right to ask this, she whispered, but I must. Ask, he said. Her hand slipped inside her robe. She pulled out a small crystal, no bigger than his thumb. It glowed with pale light. This holds everything, she said. Proof of who I am, proof of my claim. He looked at the crystal, then at her. You want me to take it? He asked. If I die, she said, her voice shaking. You must deliver this to the Valari Council. He swallowed. And if I don't, then all hope ends, she said simply. He reached out, but she pulled it back. Only if you promise, she said softly. Promise what? That you will leave me behind if you must, she whispered. His throat felt tight. I can't promise that, he said. Her eyes filled with something like sorrow. Then you will die for me, she said. Maybe, he said, but at least I will know I tried. She pressed the crystal into his hand. Her fingers closed around his. You don't understand, she said. Then help me, he said. Her voice was soft as falling ash. I was raised to believe humans were cruel, she whispered. Are we? He asked. She looked into his eyes. Not you, she said. He lifted the crystal. It felt warm, like it held a small heartbeat. If you want me to keep this safe, he said, then you have to stay alive. Her lips parted. Why? She breathed. Because I'm not carrying this alone, he said. Her hand trembled. You are a strange man, she whispered. So I've been told, he said. She closed her eyes, leaning back against the wall. Rest, he said gently. I am afraid, she admitted. Me too, he said. Her hand slipped into his. Promise me, she whispered, that you will not leave. I promise, he said. For a long time, neither of them spoke. The quiet tunnel felt like a different world. He held her hand until her breathing grew slow and deep. He knew there were still enemies above them. He knew they could be discovered at any moment. But as he watched her sleep, he realized he had made his choice. He would not run. He would stay. No matter what came next. The secret revealer. Caleb woke to find Alira watching him. Her blue eyes glowed in the dark tunnel, brighter than any lantern. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then she looked away, her voice soft. I should not have let you stay, she whispered. He rubbed the sleep from his eyes. Too late for that, he said gently. Her fingers touched the bandage on her ribs. She looked tired. Small and tired, like someone who had carried a heavy secret too long. You should know, she said slowly, what you are risking. He sat up straighter. Tell me, he said. She hesitated, her hand curling in the folds of her robe. I am not just the last heir, she whispered. Then what are you? Her gaze lifted to meet his. I am the reason this war began, she said. He frowned. I don't understand. My birth was a threat, she said quietly. The old families feared what I would become. What would you become? Her eyes were steady, though her voice shook. A queen, she whispered. the first in 500 years. He drew a slow breath. You, yes, she said, and because of that, thousands have died. Caleb reached for her hand. She pulled it back, shaking her head. Don't, she said. Don't look at me like I am something to save. But you are, he said softly. No, she whispered. I am the cause. He leaned closer. You didn't start this war, he said. Her eyes filled with tears she did not let fall. It doesn't matter, she said. If they find me, the fighting will never end. He shook his head. You're wrong, he said. Her voice turned sharp. How can you know that? Because I've seen you, he said. Seen me, she repeated. You could have ordered me to leave, he said. You could have left me behind. But you didn't. She looked away, her shoulders tight. You stayed, he said. She took a shaking breath. I don't know why, she whispered. He smiled, though it felt sad. Maybe because you're not just a queen, he said. Maybe you're a person. Her eyes lifted to his. I don't know how to be that, she said. Then let me help you, he said quietly. Her lips parted as if she would argue, but no words came. Her hand reached for his. This time, she didn't pull away. I am afraid, she admitted. Me too, he said. For a long moment, they just sat together, hands joined in the dark. Finally, she drew a slow breath. If we leave this place, she said, you must know what it means. Tell me, he said. You will never be safe, she whispered. Not while you stand beside me. He looked into her bright blue eyes. I don't care, he said. Her voice turned soft. Why? Because you are worth it, he said. Her hand tightened in his. Then we will leave together, she said. And in that moment, he knew there was no turning back. The last stand. Alira leaned her head back against the cold stone wall. Her eyes were closed, her breathing slow. Caleb watched her. Feeling the quiet settle heavy on his shoulders, he knew they could not stay here much longer. Sooner or later, the patrols would find this tunnel. He shifted, trying to ease the stiffness in his legs. When he looked back at her, her blue eyes were open again. You should go, she whispered. I told you, he said. I'm not leaving. Her gaze searched his face, tired but sharp. You would die for me, she said softly. If that's what it takes, he said. Her mouth curved in a small, sad smile. You are a fool, she whispered. So are you, he said. Her smile faded. They will come, she said. They always come. Then we'll be ready, he said. He stood and moved to the tunnel entrance. From the shadows beyond, he heard distant voices. Sharp, barking commands. He turned back to her. They're close, he said. Her hands tightened in her robe. I will surrender, she said quietly. If they take me, they might spare you. No, he said, his voice firm. Caleb, no, he said again. He walked back and knelt in front of her. If we do this, he said, we do it together. Her blue eyes filled with something he could not name. You don't understand, she whispered. Then help me, he said. She took a slow breath. If they take me alive, she said, they will break me, and I will give them everything. Then we don't let them take you, he said. Her gaze held his. Even if it means anything, he finished. Footsteps pounded above them. Dust fell from the ceiling. Eli Rock closed her eyes. I am not ready to die, she whispered. Then we live, he said. Her hand reached for his. He held it tight. Tell me what to do, he said. Her eyes opened, bright and fierce. Help me stand, she said. He slipped his arm around her shoulders and pulled her up. She swayed, her face pale with pain, but she stayed on her feet. We reached the end of the tunnel, she said. There is a door to the surface. Then we go, he said. She looked up at him, her voice quiet. Thank you, she whispered. He shook his head. Don't thank me yet, he said. Together, they moved down the tunnel. Behind them, voices grew louder. They reached the final hatch, a wide metal door with an old locking wheel. Alira leaned against the wall, while Caleb turned the wheel with all his strength. The lock groaned, then clicked open. Cold night air rushed in. She gasped, her eyes closing in relief. Almost there, he said. A shout echoed behind them. He turned and saw shadows moving fast. Go, he said. She looked at him, fear and trust in her glowing eyes. With you, she whispered. He nodded once, and as they stepped into the dark night together, Caleb knew this was their last stand. Whatever came next, they would face it side by side. The dawn of a queen. Cold air, hit Caleb's face as he pulled a lyra through the hatch. The sky above them was dark, scattered with stars, but at the edge of the horizon, a thin line of gold promised sunrise. He turned to close the hatch behind them. As he did, he saw the first enemy soldier appear in the tunnel. Their eyes met through the shadows. Caleb slammed the door shut and turned the locking wheel until it froze. He knew it would not hold forever, but it might be enough. Eli Ross stood a few steps away, her robe pulled tight around her, her blue eyes lifted to the stars. I never thought I would see them again, she whispered. He moved to her side. Stay close, he said softly. She nodded, though her face was pale with pain. Where will we go? She asked. Anywhere they're not, he said. Her hand touched his arm. Caleb, she breathed. I can't run anymore. He turned fully to her. That we don't run, he said. She frowned, confused. What do you mean? You are their queen, he said. Maybe it's time they remembered. Her eyes widened. If I stand here, she said, they will kill me. Maybe, he said, or maybe they will see you. She shook her head. You don't understand, she whispered. Then help me, he said gently. She looked down. Her voice was soft. I was raised to hide, she said, to stay silent, to pretend I was nothing. He touched her cheek. You are not nothing, he said. Her breath caught. I am afraid, she admitted. So am I, he said. She closed her eyes. Then she opened them again, her gaze steadier. Then stand with me, she whispered. Always, he said. Voices rose behind the hatch. The lock shuddered. Eli Rod drew a deep breath. Help me, she said. He slipped his arm around her waist. Together, they climbed the small hill that rose above the tunnel. As they reached the top, the first rays of dawn lit the broken city below, and on the far edge, dozens of soldiers waited, weapons raised. Eli Rod lifted her head high. Caleb felt her hand tighten in his. I am a Lyra Valari, she called, her voice clear. The soldiers froze. She drew herself up to her full height. And I claim my birthright, she said. For a moment, no one moved. Then, slowly, one soldier sank to his knees. Then another. And another, until the whole line had bowed their heads. Eli Rod turned to Caleb. Her blue eyes shone bright with something fierce and new. You see, she whispered. See what? He asked softly. Her hand found his. That you were right, she said. I am not nothing. He smiled, tired and proud. You never were, he said. The wind moved through her silver robe like a banner. She looked down at the soldiers kneeling below. It's over, she whispered. Or just beginning, he said. Her gaze lifted to his. Will you stay? She asked. Always, he said. Her hand closed over his. And as the sun rose behind them, Caleb knew this was the dawn of something that would change both their worlds forever. In the first light of morning, she was no longer hidden. She was the queen she was always meant to be. And he was the man who chose to stand by her side.